I need a police officer. I'm being attacked. I'm being assaulted. Come get out of the room. Get out of the room.
He really ain't able to go all the way with it.
And families on the receiving end.
It made me question the justice system.
And those who think it should be repealed. As we travel to the center of the national storm, overstaying only the testimony of the one person left standing. That was the case in the shooting of Carlos Ibanez.
This is the killer's testimony. He was watching TV and he heard a noise and he feel that something is going on, and the first thing that he do was go into his room, pick up his gun.
Alvaro Ibanez's son Carlos was a Christian missionary. Preaching was his passion. According to witnesses, on the night of July, cartwheeling and in a manic state. He meant no harm, but he frightened 72-year-old Marcos Trujillo. What happened next is so painful to Ibanez's father, he's constantly reliving his son's last moments through his art.
And then he come back out of the room, out of his apartment, and saw my son in the middle of the street. I said, stop, and my son raised his hand. He said in his testimony, 2 shots in the air.
So he fired 2 shots first in the air.
And then my son came through, and he just said, stop, and shot him twice. That was the end of the story.
Did anybody see this?
No, the only witness was him.
So you think that he went after your son?
I seen the guy have his gun in his hand, and he feel powerful, and the law told him, go ahead. I feel that the law allowed that to happen.
So you feel the law basically was telling him, you've got the right to shoot this guy?
Yeah, I feel that the law tell not only him, but everybody.
Alvaro and his wife Denise are still processing their grief through their creative work.
At this point, my wife resumed what happened that night. We don't wake our daughter till just before the taxi comes. We seem to think as long as she sleeps, that her brother is still alive.
So she wasn't woken?
He was alive,
As long as she slept, she believed that he was still alive.
Yeah.
Because of Florida's Stand Your Ground laws, Trujillo wasn't charged in the shooting of Carlos Ibanez. Based on his testimony, both police and the district attorney determined that he felt threatened and was acting in self-defense.
So what was your reaction when you found out that the man who killed your son wasn't going to be charged?
It made me question the justice system.
How so?
I always thought that everyone had their day in court. I always believed that everyone had the opportunity to tell their story. And it was really disappointing to find out that that wasn't true.
The guy testified. They came over, interviewed him, and that was the end. Justified homicide.
And he's just one person. I'm sure there are more people who have been able to do the same thing, to just decide to walk out into the street and shoot an unarmed person. Our society is allowing more people to think, I have the right to kill someone who inconveniences me, or who makes me feel afraid, or doubt my safety. That's what our society is teaching people. Mr. Trujillo was a person who was a victim of that belief that led him to become a killer.
Ground as a defense.
People like to believe that an innocent person can't be killed. And they'll do anything they can to convince themselves that that can't happen, that it's not possible. People need to understand that their own son or daughter could be the victim of this kind of crime. The world lost a great person when he was killed. A great artist, a wonderful father, a good son. It's a loss to all of us.